welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Too Faced Too Femme collection. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I will do my best to reply back. I purchased 3 different items from this collection. I purchased the eyeshadow palette, the blush, and 1 lipstick. We're first going to start with the blush and lipstick, and then we'll move on to the eyeshadow palette. I purchased 1 lipstick shade from this collection. This shade is called Sweet Tea. It retails for $23 at Ulta Beauty, Sephora, and Too Faced online. I purchased all of my items on Ulta's website. I do want to read a little bit about these lipsticks. Drench Lips in Too Faced's Too Femme Heart Core Lipstick. Weightless Too Femme buildable color and juicy shine with a moisturizing heart core blend of nourishing shea butter and vitamin C rich acerola cherry extract. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Too Faced Too Femme Heart Core Lipstick. Up at the top you have the shade name. Again, this shade is called Sweet Tea 06. You get 2.8 grams of product or 0.098 ounces. Side of the packaging you have a little description. On the other side it says it in a different language. On the back of the packaging you have the ingredients and the barcode. On the bottom of the packaging it states it was made in Korea. Let's open this up. There's nothing on the inside of the flap. Here's what the actual lipstick looks like. It says Too Faced up at the top. The lipstick tube is shaped like a heart. Down at the bottom you have the shade name. Again, this shade is called Sweet Tea. Here's how much product comes in the lipstick, and there's that heart shape in the middle. Inside of the lipstick, it reminds me of the e.l.f. Core Shine lipstick. They look very similar, and on the inside, it does have that heart. If you have not seen my review on the e.l.f. Core lipsticks, I'll leave it right over here in the cards if you guys are interested. Let's see what the shade Sweet Tea swatch is like. Sweet Tea is described as a light mauve nude. I was not expecting that much pigmentation. This was the only shade that intrigued me from this collection. All the other shades on the website look too pinky. I applied 2 coats of this lipstick, barely shows up like it does on the back of my hand. That's disappointing for $23. I'm gonna see if I can build up the shade in Sweet Tea. I guess that's a little bit better, but for $23 I expected more pigmentation. I do want to feel the formula. I'm gonna press my lips together. The formula does feel very moisturizing on my lips. I do want to do a kiss test on the back of my hand. I know that there will be transfer because these are lipsticks. Here's how much product came off. You can still see a wash of color of the shade in Sweet Tea. I would not recommend this formula for $23. If you're looking for a good pigmented lipstick, Too Faced has one of the best. They're called the Lady Bold lipsticks. I also reviewed all 12 shades in that collection. If you guys have not seen that video, I'll leave it right over here in the cards if you guys are interested. Those lipsticks retail for $24. This lipstick retails for $23. For $1 more, you can get a more pigmented formula. This, on the other hand, is not worth the $23. They should have priced these at $18. The formula is nice, but I can guarantee you that these are not going to be long lasting on the lips. It does have a nice shine to it, but again, it's not worth the $23. The lipstick does have a light vanilla scent. It's very subtle, but I can smell it. Now let's move on to the Too Femme blush. This retails for $30, again at Ulta Beauty, Sephora, and Too Faced online. I do want to read a little bit about this blush on Ulta's website. Make hearts flutter with this peachy pink luminous blush that's universally flattering and smells as sweet as a sugared violet. This creamy texture transforms into an ultra thin feather wave powder that blends effortlessly for a buildable color to make a statement that's totally Too Femme. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Too Faced Too Femme. On this side you have the list of ingredients. On the other side you have the barcode. Down at the bottom it states that this blush was made in Italy. On the back of the packaging you have a little description, and then it's printed in a different language. So let's see what this looks like. Again, there's nothing printed on the flap. And here's what the actual blush looks like. Again, I love the butterfly detailing, and this is a cardboard package. Here's what the back looks like. This blush shade seems very glittery, and it does come with a mirror. Let's see what the swatch is like. Here's what the blush shade looks like. It does have too much shimmer for my liking, but it is very pretty. Here's what the blush looks like. Again, it is very pretty. I just don't like shimmery blushes. I prefer a matte blush. I wish Too Faced would have created two versions of this blush, a matte version and a shimmer version. I'm very oily and I feel like throughout my day I'll get even oilier. Now let's move on to the eyeshadow palette. This palette retails for $39. It's very small. The photos online made it seem like the palette was bigger. I do want to read a little bit about this palette on Ulta's website. Embrace fierce femininity and create looks as limitless as your imagination with Too Faced's Too Femme ethereal eyeshadow palette. From soft and dreamy shimmers as delicate as a butterfly wing to standout next generation mattes. You can create your own beauty metamorphosis each time you use it. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Too Faced Too Femme ethereal eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. Up at the top, it's the continuation of the butterflies. Side of the packaging, there's a different language. On this side of the packaging, it tells you how much product. We get 9.2 grams or 0.36 ounces, and it does state that this was made in Korea. At the bottom of the packaging, you have the list of ingredients, and then on the back of the packaging, it says Too Faced Too Femme. You have the picture with the shade name, and then again, you have the list of ingredients. Let's open this up. Here's what the actual eyeshadow palette looks like. Again, it's the same cardboard packaging. Beautiful detailing again. It says Too Faced. Here's what the back of the palette looks like. Here's what the inside of the packaging looks like. Again, it comes with a mirror, but it is very small. If you compare it to the Cinnamon Swirl palette, which came out in the fall, you can see how small this palette is. For $39, I expected this size. The back of the packaging, you have a little picture with the shade names printed. The first shade is called Hearts A Flutter. Very soft in the pan. Hearts A Flutter is described as a soft, warm petal pink. Here's what that shade looks like. The next shade is called Heart On. Again, very smooth in the pan. Heart On is described as a bronze gold with speckled purple pearl accents. That shade is so pretty. The next shade is called Meant to Be. Meant to Be is described as a shimmering minty green. The next shade is called Make It Rain. I do want to point out that the pan size is very small. I can barely get my fingers in the pan. If you have larger fingertips, I'm not sure if you can get your fingers in there. Again, here's what the shade in Make It Rain looks like. Make It Rain is described as an aqua blue. The next shade is called Chrysalis Crush. Chrysalis Crush is described as a soft lavender with gold pearl. The second to last shade in the top row is called You Give Me Butterflies. Again, super soft in the pan. You Give Me Butterflies is described as a dusty rose. The last shade in the top row is called Free to Be Femme. Again, super soft in the pan. Wow, that's super pigmented with one swipe. That's really pretty. Free to Be Femme is described as a rich chocolate brown. The first shade in the bottom row is called Soft Landing. Soft Landing is described as a soft warm pink. Next up we have Hear Me Roar. Hear Me Roar is described as a multi-dimensional flamingo pink. Next up we have Pretty Powerful. Again, very soft in the pan. Pretty Powerful is described as a coral orange. The next shade in the palette is called Think Pink. Think Pink is described as a warm silver with speckled purple and pink pearl accents. It does state to use this on the cheeks only. Why did they include this shade in this eyeshadow palette if it's only meant for the cheeks? That's kind of concerning because a lot of people are not going to read the back of the palette, the description on the website. They're just going to apply this particular shadow on their eyelids. They do also mention it on the back of the palette, but it is a very small print, and I don't think a lot of people would read that. It says Think Pink, use on the cheeks only. Before I go any further, I do want to see what the shade in Think Pink looks like applied to the cheeks. It's very sparkly and I don't like that look. I would prefer this look versus adding that to the cheeks. Anyways, let's move on to the next shade in the palette. The next shade is called Too Femme. I'm gonna apply the shade in Too Femme at the very top of my hand since I don't have any room on my arm. Here's what Too Femme looks like. Too Femme is described as a vivid violet. The second to last shade is called Fiercely Femme. Fiercely Femme is described as a cranberry. The last shade in the palette is called Queen of Everything. Queen of Everything is described as a mid-tone dusty brown. Here's what all 14 shadows look like swatched on the back of my hand. Now we're going to create a look using this palette. Using a fluffy brush, I'm going to dip into the last shadow in Queen of Everything. Apply this all over the crease, going back and forth using windshield wiper motions. That blended out very evenly. I'm going to be doing the same thing for the other eye. Using that same brush, I'm going to dip into the shadow in Chrysalis Crush. Apply that right below the first shadow, again going back and forth using windshield wiper motions. That lavender shadow has so much shimmer in it, I'm just going to be using a clean fluffy brush, going over it just to soften it out a bit. Again, doing the same thing for this side. The lavender shadow is not translating what it looks in the pan on the eyelids. It looks like I applied just glitter on my eyes instead of that beautiful lavender. Using a clean flat brush, I'm going to dip into the shadow in Make It Rain. This shadow has a ton of fallout. I'm going to pack this shadow all over the lid. That's so pretty. It's looking a little bit chalky on the eyes and a little bit dry. I want to see what the next shade looks like. Using that same brush, I'm going to dip into the shadow in Meant to Be. Apply it on top in the center. The mint shadow is doing the same thing what the lavender shadow did. It's not applying any of that pigment, just the shimmer. Again, I'm not liking that at all. Taking a clean eyeshadow brush, I'm going to dip into the shadow in Too Femme. I wanted a hint of purple. Apply this in the crease. Again, going back and forth, doing windshield wiper motions. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted the lavender shadow to do. Using my flat brush, I'm going to dip back into the shadow and Make It Rain. I lost a little bit of that shadow on the lid. I'm just going to pack it back on. There we go, that's much better. For my inner corner, I'm going to apply the shadow in Heart On. That's so pretty. For mascara, I'm going to apply my Rare Beauty Volumizing Mascara. Here's what everything looks like. I don't think Too Faced should have priced this eyeshadow palette for $39. It should have been $25 to $27 like they did with their mini eyeshadow palette. I like the color story in this eyeshadow palette. I wish the formula was better when applied to the eyes. I swatched them on the back of my hand. They were super pigmented with one swipe. When I applied the lavender shadow to my eyes, it wasn't as pigmented as I swatched it on the back of my hand. For the price, I expected more from Too Faced. This particular shade in Think Pink is only stated to use on your cheeks. So what happens if you apply this to your eyes? Will you get some irritation? I don't know, so I'm not going to apply this shade to my eyelids. But what if somebody does? That's definitely concerning. I would also skip the lipstick and the blush. The lipstick isn't as pigmented for $23, and it is clinging to my dry patch that I have on my lips, which it shouldn't be. It states it's a moisturizing lipstick. For $30, the blush is way too shimmery for my liking. Here's what it looks like applied on the cheek. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on purchasing this collection or if you already have it in your collection. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.